Welcome to this introduction to Mapestry, an intuitive content-driven app which allows you to build and design static web pages, incorporating text, images, videos and maps to provide a dynamic online experience. In this video, we'll explore the Mapestry interface and briefly show the concept of using building blocks to create a Mapestry page. So this is the Mapestry application, and I'm starting off with a blank canvas. And I'm going to start adding some content to this page very shortly. But before I do that, I'm going to configure some options. So at the top of the interface, I'm going to access Page Options. Now I want to give my page a title. Now this title will also appear in the Browser tab when you publish your page. In addition to that, you can set a page icon. This will also appear in the Browser tab and is likely to be your organization's favicon icon. And then the final setting is the page theme. Now the page theme defines the styles that are used on the page, for example, font styles and color schemes. In most cases, you will use your organization's website style guide, which can be integrated with Mapestry. So your Mapestry pages are themed like your website. But it's worth noting you can have as many themes as you like. So if you want to create different looking pages. So you select your theme and hit save. We're now ready to start adding some content. Therefore, in the top left-hand corner, we select Add Block. And this presents a list of the different content blocks we can add to the page. So to top and tail the page, we can use page header and page footer. You may use the page footer for copyright statements and other information, and you may use the header to introduce the page. So let's select this block. In the header, you can also include an image, which might be your company logo. So again, browse to your image that you wish to use. And then underneath, you can include your title. Once you're ready, select Add Block, and that will preview the header at the top of our page. I now want to add an image, so if we return back to Add Block, I'm going to select Image from the list. Now at the top, you can select your image from your own library or stock photos. For the purpose of this video, I'm using my own library of AI-generated images. And then underneath, there are a number of configuration options, which include changing the size of the image. You can change the image type, which may include applying a scroll effect. And then underneath, you can also overlay text over the image, and there are a number of different options available. I'm going to select title because I want a centered title over the image. I'm going to add my title and then select Add Block to preview the image with my title. Now the style guide will determine what styles are applied to different headings, and there is a hierarchy, so a main title will be considered heading 1, a subtitle will be heading 2, and that continues. So if I want to treat my local plan text here as a main title as a heading 1, I need to use Markdown to specify that. Now for every content block in the top right hand corner, you can select Edit to return to the settings, and to specify the Markdown and apply a heading 1 style to my local plan text, I just need to precede that with a hash and then have a hash after the text. It's worth noting from this drop-down you can also see some other Markdown language options. If I select Save Block, we can now see the styling has applied. This approach helps you to apply your styles consistently throughout the page. You can also add spaces in between your content blocks using a spacer. So if I return back to Add Block, select Spacer, I can specify a size of the spacer and then click Add Block. And that simply adds a white space to break up your content on the page. I now want to add some text, so let's return back to Add Block, where you've got a couple of different options available. They include centered content, where you can have a paragraph centered on the page. Further down, you've got text columns, where you can have 2 columns of text side by side, or you can have side text, where you can have text alongside an image or a map. So let's add this block. At the top, you can choose the position of the text, left or right, and then underneath, add your content. And then underneath that, you can then choose if you want to embed an image or a map. To embed a map, there are a couple of options to configure. That includes choosing your web map application. Then you choose which map you wish to embed within this block. And then underneath that, there are a couple of map configuration settings. First of all, let's scroll down the page so we can see a preview of this block. Now, if I return back to those settings, you can define the center of the map. You can also define the resolution or scale of the map, And then underneath, you've got a number of controls that you can add, which include feature information, layer switcher, and showing a scale. There is also an option to set up interactions, and I'll explain those very shortly. But if I now hit Save Block, we can now preview the text on the left and the map on the right in this side text block. If you want a map to scale the full width of the page, return back to Add Block and select the Sys Web Map option. The configuration is exactly the same, but the output is a map that fills the page. Now, to enhance the delivery of the map, you can add map interactions, and these interactions are triggered when you scroll down the page, and these are linked to headings in your content. These interactions can be a pan to a location, it can zoom, it can show and hide a layer, and it can show a marker. So let's add an interaction to this map. So let's go to Edit Content, and in the bottom left, select Interactions. Now this is where you can build interactions for different headings. So we're going to hit this icon and add a new interaction, and I'm going to call this H3 to match my policy heading. From the next menu, using the drop-down, I can select the heading from the content that we wish to assign the interaction to. So I'm going to select the H3 policy heading and then select Next. I'm then going to name the action. So just to keep it simple, I will call this H3 as well. And then I can define what action is performed by adding a step. And the drop down shows the available actions. So let's say I want to show a layer when we scroll to this H3 heading. So select show layer, and then from the drop down, select the layer I wish to show. Select save, and we've now added that step. You can simply add more steps if you wish. So let's say I want to center the map at a particular location. So I can use pan to location, select this icon, and then click on the map where I wish to center the map, and then hit save. And then if I add one more step, let's say I want to zoom into the map as part of this interaction. So here I can just use the scale here to choose my resolution or scale, click save, and we've now added all of our steps. Now these steps can be actioned one step at a time or concurrently by ticking this box. Then once I'm happy, click finish, click save, and save block, and that interaction is now saved against that heading. In this interface, you can save your progress by selecting the Save option at the top of the interface. This will save the page as a proprietary Mapestry file, and when you're ready to publish, you can select the Publish option. This will publish your Mapestry page into a HTML document. It will also create a packaged folder containing any multimedia that you have added to the page, including images and videos. And then those files can then be published on your organization's web domain and accessed via a single URL. So that concludes this introductory video to Mapestry. Further information is available on our website and from our online help, or please contact us by email or telephone for further assistance.